wife's from, not a lot of options, and took a job at an association. Like, I don't know anything about this. It was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had, in the sense that my experience now, this may not be true, and in fact, I know it's not true in all associations, but we were small staff. We were a staff of 2.5, really. And the idea of wearing multiple hats and making something out of nothing and being scrappy. And in fact, I think there's positives and negatives of being first to market with a product. Positive is you get name recognition, a lot of adoption, but then as competitors come into the market space, people just assume that you're the product they used back when they were getting out of college or something, right? The problem is that people assume we haven't iterated, and I always tease my my coworkers with that, because what other software hasn't iterated? Like, why would they assume Constant Contact hasn't changed and grown when every piece of software we use has changed and grown, right? It's been fairly easy for me to talk to people about the value proposition of adopting email. I think by now everybody kind of understands that, if I send to people and they open and click, they're going to donate or attend or volunteer or, whatever I'm trying to get them to do, engage. They kind of understand that. But then inevitably somebody will say to me, but what do I put in the email? What do I say? I'm not a copywriter. I'm not a marketer. What do I say? And I'll hem and haw, and I'll pull up my collar and I'll go, oh, see you in the next city. Bye. Because the reality is they still have to put their finger to the keyboard. That's really hard for a lot of people, right? And so, yeah, we've introduced AI. It is front and center. It is in the product. And it's not hyperbole. Like, there's been nothing added to Constant Contact in those 12 years I've seen that's more impactful to small businesses, nonprofits, associations than adding AI, because it solves that significant pain point. And where I see a lot of small business, nonprofits, associations struggle with beyond content creation is mapping a plan to the outcome. Successful marketing requires you to kind of, okay, what's my goal? How am I going to get to my goal? And that can be a real challenge for people that are time starved or don't have the experience, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's something that AI is probably going to be able to tackle. Is like and I mean, again, this is not Constant Contact roadmap, but I can see things going this way, where you go, well, my goal is to get this many attendees at my conference. And then it'll say, okay, well, what tools do you have? Well, I have social, I have podcasts, I have this. And it maybe map out a plan and a schedule for you. I can see that, the winds of the marketing world pivoting that way. I mean, I think, savvy marketers understand the correlation between goal setting and the way you get to that goal. But if you put yourself in a small business, a small nonprofits world with limited resources, man, they're just trying to get that newsletter out. That's all they want to do. And the more that technology can help them organize themselves, crunch the data, give them suggestions, I see that helping them lift whatever goal they're trying to do, achieve whatever goal they're trying to achieve. Because if writing marketing copy is the first challenge I've seen them finally resolved by AI, it's probably going to be, how do I map out a successful marketing plan? That people really need to start thinking through segmentation and making content relevant, and that almost hyper relevant. And it will kind of go back into the world of wearing multiple hats in a small shop, right? That can be a challenge, but the good news is tools like Constant Contact have built into them the features that will help you, thanks to AI, thanks to technology, cut your big list into smaller lists and make it easier to use. That's only going to continue. And I imagine that with the evolution of AI, that is going to become more prevalent and needed.
It just makes it easier, and you can actually do it. The tools are there for you to do it, and it doesn't require a marketing staff of 12 people that's constantly writing content for your different segments. So you can really bypass that with generative AI.
Absolutely. And, putting my association hat back on and like imagining somebody coming to me and saying, whoa, you need to send out 7 targeted emails. I'd say, how do you expect me to do that? Leverage the technology that's available. I couldn't have done that 13 years ago, but I can do it now, and I can do it relatively easily. And the benefit is a lift in whatever it is you're trying to get a lift in, whether that's revenue or attendance or volunteers or just engagement from the membership. The benefit is the more relevant you can make the content, the higher the lift. I'm often asked about unsubscribes, right? It's a common topic of people unsubscribing to a list, which I can understand in the association world. Well, that could be my future donor. That could be my future member, yada, yada, right? The bigger danger out there is becoming irrelevant, because as soon as you become irrelevant, they're not even going to bother unsubscribing. They're just going to stop paying attention to you. Like, I guarantee anybody watching right now, listening right now, even you too, have emails in your inbox from organizations you've donated to, attended, you're passionate about at one time, you bought from, that just become white noise because they told you they're irrelevant. And that can be an expensive mistake in the association world. I think the blessing and curse of email marketing is the ROI, with $36 on average per dollar spent. It seems like, oh, well, I may as well just throw this out to everybody. But the problem is that while you will get a return, and some people are satisfied with the phone ringing a couple times or a couple sales or a couple whatever, right? It could be more, and it should be more. The idea of blasting out to everybody, I'm going to pivot back to that idea of relevancy. The more you can create relevant content, and provide a relationship building experience, especially in the association world, the more of that behavior you're going to get out of them that you want. Because, this is true for every industry. Not everybody is able to take action right now on everything you ask them to do. And so, it may take 3 touches, 5 touches, 10 touches for them to take the action. But what you don't want to do is fall into that irrelevant white noise valley, where once they actually do need you or have the ability to donate or have the ability to attend or whatever, they already forgot you.
Yeah.
One thing I think nearly every audience I teach or talk to needs to understand is the value of each and every single contact they have in their database, because of the nature of permission-based marketing, which means that somebody gave you permission to market to them. That action of them giving you the contact information may be the first yes in this long-term relationship you hope to have with them. It may be the first yes in moving them to buy, attend, donate, whatever. And so every single contact has potential value. On top of that, when they give you their contact information, they know something about you, right? Whether they've been to your site or your social, or your event, or they're a member, or whatever it is, they know something about you, right? And so they're not, in lack of a better word, you're not cold calling them. They know you, right? So these are somewhat sold people who have taken an action to say, yes, I want this relationship. But so what my former association did is they procured Constant Contact at a discount, and they offer Constant Contact at a discount downline to all the members as a value proposition for membership. I know probably every association, especially membership based, that's a common play, right? I covered one I'm particularly passionate about, which is people need to understand where people are reading emails, which is going to be probably a mobile device. And because it's a mobile device, and because attention spans have changed, how long they're probably reading an email. So I saw a study recently that it's down to 7 seconds now. You've got 7 seconds in front of your audience. Now, whether you want, it's beyond time to really rethink a lot of people's email marketing strategy in terms of construction, because what we want them to do is we want them to get into that email, find what's important to them, and get out as quickly as possible. And when I teach that to associations and nonprofit, usually I get a, what? I'm like, we want them to, because the first thing to know is nobody reads email anymore anyway. We scan and we skim. And what we're looking for is that relevant content, right? And so what we want to build is an email that's scannable, that's skimmable. Okay, here's relevant. Here's something I want to learn more. Here's something I want to take action on. Click. That's when the clock slows down. My experience is that in the association world, in the nonprofit world, it's just getting that email out. That's like all they focus on. And like, you have this world of data. You have this world of data. Your audience is speaking to you every single time you take an interaction. And it is the smart marketer that listens. And I'm throwing out content, and 50% of my audience loves that content. Break them into a smaller group and send them more of that content. Or even better, tie it to automation, build out a series around that content, and feed them some more of that content. That's what they're telling you they like, right? If you're going to be delivered marketing, it's far better to be delivered marketing that's useful to you. And I mean, that kind of dovetails back to what I brought up before, which is the value of every contact. Every contact has inherent value because of the way they gave you the relationship. Mm-hmm. Let's send them relevant content. And with today's tools, you can do that more easily and more easily and more easily.